Hey, Sarah Wells Rolland here at the Village Potters Clay Center. In this video, I am going to show how to set up a simple outdoor spray booth. It's kind of a makeshift spray booth, so that if you decide you would like to experiment with spraying glaze onto your pots, you can do so easily and inexpensively. So now we're going to take a close look at equipment that is essential for spraying in your homemade spray booth. This is a North 7700 respirator. It has cartridges with dust filters on them. You need to be wearing this whenever you're spraying for your health. You can purchase that online on Amazon. This is a Husky high-volume, low-pressure spray gun I purchased at Home Depot. I find it more than adequate for the spraying that I do, and I will demonstrate some wonderful techniques using this simple spray gun. Now we're going to look at a few pots that I've prepared for spraying. This pot has got white bird mat on it, and then I put wax on the inside, and I'm going to spray glaze onto the wax and leave it in beads, and then when it melts, I'm hoping to get what looks like oil spots. Now these three pots have Malcolm Chino on them, and I've taken wax with red iron oxide in it and applied the wax designs onto the surface. I am going to use the spray gun to spray the same Malcolm Chino a second layer over the first layer and have beautiful effects. This square tile has blue rutile on it, a cone tin glaze, and on the rim of the tile and on raised surfaces of the texture, I took a damp sponge and removed the glaze so that when I spray it, I'll have blue rutile, I'll have iron saturate over the blue rutile, and I'll have some iron saturate all by itself. It is a lovely effect. So now I'm going to show you where I have my glazes set up. I have an iron saturated glaze, I have Chino glaze, I have the variegated slate with the green peacock, and I also have a bucket of water to clean my spray gun because I don't have an outdoor sink, and a pitcher of water for cleaning the gun. I will use this water between the glaze materials so that the gun is completely clean before I put a different glaze into the spray gun. So you can see it's a simple little bit of equipment. Now we're going to look at the makeshift spray booth. I just took a cardboard box and cut off one of the long sides and created this little storyboard type of display, and I sprayed it with polyurethane so I could wipe it down, clean it off, and use it again. You can see I've anchored it down with just some found heavy objects in the yard. I've got a nice banding wheel and a bisque tile on top. The bisque tile is really handy because when the glaze hits the bisque tile, it dries and doesn't pool up on the edge of the pot. Try to set up your situation so that your pot is at least waist high. That way you're not hurting your back trying to bend over and see what you're doing. Cardboard screen will keep from spraying glaze all over your yard. Now here is our compressor. The compressor is a simple thing to be purchased at a hardware store. It needs to be able to hold 125 pounds of pressure, and then you'll have a regulator on there. It's sort of behind the yellow handle, and you adjust that down to about 20 pounds. Now you'll see there's a quick connect where I've hooked the hose to the compressor. You can purchase these quick connects at any hardware store. So once you have your pressure set down at 20 pounds, it should be a nice flow for your spray gun. Let's talk a minute about the respirator again. When you do get your respirator, I wear a small and my husband wears a medium. You want to make sure that it's adjusted to fit securely and snugly on your face. So adjust the bands so that it's a nice tight fit, but it doesn't have to be so tight that you're extremely uncomfortable. Hook it in the back and make sure that you have a good seal around your face. It's not hard to breathe through these respirators, so you'll get very used to wearing one when you're spraying your glazes. Check and make sure your seals are good and you're ready to go. So now here is my spray gun. I'm going to show you how easy it is to put together. I just screw the top on, and then I'm going to take the Shino glaze and put it into the container. I'm not going to fill the container all the way because I'm only spraying a couple of pots. But if you had a table full of pots, you would want to just fill it all the way up to the top. Now you're going to be able to see me connect the hose with a quick connect right to the spray gun, and I test it on my wonderful screen guard. So this is one of my Shino pots, and I'm just going to spray the glaze against the pot. I'm holding it pretty close to the pot. The further you hold it away, the wider the spray is against the surface. I have a nice light coat on these pieces. I don't need a whole lot of extra coat when I'm putting the same glaze on top of the same glaze. You can see the beautiful effects that I'm getting where the glaze is hitting the wax. This piece also has iron saturated wax, and I'm spraying the Shino on it, and it's going to bead up nicely onto that wax, and that's going to be a nice visual effect. Now I'm going to show you how I clean the spray gun with the bucket of water and the pitcher of water. So I'm putting the glaze back in its original container, and I'm going to unscrew the bucket that holds the glaze and immerse it in the bucket of water. You want to make sure you get all the glaze off of your spray gun so that you don't contaminate the next glaze that you're going to use. If you know you're going to do a lot of spraying and you're going to have lots of glazes, you probably will want to eventually make an investment in multiple guns, and then you don't have to do all this cleaning. You can just go back and forth which glaze you want to use. So now I'm going to put some water into the container and spray it through the gun to make sure that it's really good and clean. When you purchase your spray gun, there will be a manual how to take the spray gun apart and clean it. Pay attention to the depth of the screw that you use for your needle into the spray gun because it affects the flow of the glaze. Now you can see that I have the variegated slate with the peacock green stain in it. And I am going to put it in the spray gun and spray it on top of that waxed surface to get beautiful beads. And I'm hoping, this is a test tile, so I'm hoping that when it melts, it's going to look kind of like an oil spot surface. You can already tell looking at the pot that you can see beautiful beads on the surface. So the square tile has got the areas where I removed glaze with the damp sponge. I'm going to take an iron saturated glaze and spray it on the rim, and then make sure I get a nice little coating on the rest of the pot, and specifically those areas where I've removed glaze. It will give this pot a look as if it has 3 different glazes: the base glaze, the sprayed glaze on the raw areas, and then the overlap of the 2. It's a wonderful way to use 2 glazes to get 3 variations. So I'm just spraying mostly the outside with a little mist. Now you can see I'm spraying the rim, and I'm looking for when wet glaze hits wet glaze. I know that's the variable that I want for these two glazes together. That is not a general rule. You have to learn volume of spraying specifically with every glaze that you use. So take really good notes and be a wonderful observer. So look again at how simple this setup is. You too can set up a spray booth in your backyard. You can be safe, your yard can be safe, and have fun experimenting with spraying glazes onto your pots. I hope this video both equips you and inspires you to give it a try.